Greetings. In this podcast, we are going to talk about using Google Drive and how this tool is going to help us over the course of our semester together. To that end, we're going to talk about what Google Drive is, how it's organized, and also how we can use it to create, edit, and share documents. By the end of this podcast, you are going to be able to utilize Google Drive to create documents. Additionally, you'll be able to collaborate and share these documents, in addition to accessing revision histories, live chatting within, and making copies of documents, all within Google Drive. So, let's get started. Google Drive is a suite of cloud-based apps, including word processing, presentation development, and information retrieval. Essentially, it's like Google has taken Microsoft Word or Apple Pages, Excel, spreadsheets, and PowerPoint and put them in the web for us. Now, what this does is it changes our relationship to the files that we are creating. Currently, most of us engage in what is called local computing. The files that we create actually live on our laptops. We save them to our hard drives or to our USB drives, but we save them to some physical hard drive, right? They live in a particular locality. Now, the trick here is when we want to send those files to other computers, we have to send them in an email or upload them to Blackboard or put them in a Dropbox. What this does is creates an additional file. It creates a copy. So rather than there being the single file that we were working on that lives on our machine, there's, in this example, 4 different files. And those 4 files don't talk to each other. Even though they're the same essential document, changes on, let's say, machine 2 do not get automatically updated on machine 1, right? So even though everyone has, in theory, the same document, they may not have the same document because the documents live locally on their hard drive. In cloud-based computing, rather than the file living on your hard drive, it lives in the cloud, which is essentially a metaphor for the internet. So, in this same kind of situation, the file, rather than being sent out to a variety of different computers to live, is accessed from the web. So the computers are all accessing the same file, allowing us to work not on multiple files of the same document, but on the same file at the same time. So you could have 3 people working on a paper together in real time without having to merge the documents later. Right? So cloud-based computing, the locality becomes the internet. So it's this kind of universal locality versus this just lives on my hard drive. Now, Google Drive allows us to do this kind of work. So, in order to use Google Drive, you will have to have a Google account. Drive is accessible at https://drive.google.com. There you will come across this lovely sign-in page where you will input in your Google information. If you have a Gmail account, you already have a Google Drive. You just may not know it. And if you don't, you can easily get one. Creating an account is super duper easy, and you don't necessarily even need to add another email to your wallet of email addresses. Simply make sure that you check the box or click the link that says you prefer to use your current email address, and they'll walk you through using the email address you already use. But that will give you access to Google Drive. Now, once you sign into Google Drive, you'll come to the dashboard, which looks like this. It's pretty much a list of all of the folders and documents that you have created, all of them right here. Now, the main button for creating anything in the dashboard is the Create button, right here to the left-hand side. Here's where you'll create folders, documents, etc., etc. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to create folders for organizing your Google Drive. Just like anything, the folder hierarchy that you decide on is really important for your own productivity. So thinking about your folder structure is really important. So folders right here. Same thing with documents. Documents is really the first thing that's available to you. So in class, we're going to use the documents primarily for turning in assignments. Some of the things I really like about using documents in Google Drive is it allows for a lot of formatting, special characters, Commenting is really, really nice. Revision histories, which we'll talk about later, the live chat, and the online storage. You'll never have to worry about losing a USB drive again or not knowing where that file is because Google Drive will automatically save it for you. So let's look at what a Google Doc actually looks like. When you're working in Google Docs, you'll be surprised at how similar it is to other word processing programs you've used. Right? The toolbar is strikingly familiar and quite similar to Word and Apple Pages, and is really quite easy to use. You have a variety of fonts, you have the ability to print, the ability to do different kinds of alignments. It's really quite nice. Now, when I am returning papers to you, you're going to see a lot of comments, and so let me show you what those are going to look like. There's going to be sections of your paper that are highlighted, and there will be a comment off to the side. I'm going to do this by clicking this lovely comment button above. And what's really nice about these comments is you have the option to reply to me, right? So if we are working on editing a paper together, like a collaborative paper, or I have questions for you, you can reply right in the comments, which is really, really nice. It's a great feature of this particular app. So, another nice thing about Google Docs is, let's say, I don't know, your Boston Terrier decides to terrorize your desk. This has actually happened. This is a picture of my dog, Phyllis. And your Word doc is completely messed up. Not to worry. Google Doc has a revision history that allows you to go back in and actually track all of the things that you've done to the document. So let's say that your dog climbs up onto your desk and randomly types in a bunch of stuff as she's trying to get the best sun in the morning. You can go back into your revision history and go back to the version that existed before that happened. And you do this through the File menu right here, which is really, really nice. Another feature of Google Docs that is delightful is the chatting within documents. So let's say that you are working on a collaborative paper, or you would like some input on a paper from me as the instructor. We can literally meet inside of your document and talk via chat windows. In the upper right-hand corner of your document, you'll see other viewers. There'll be these lovely little colored boxes. And when you hover over them, it'll give you the username of who that colored box represents. You click on that box, a chat window opens, and you're literally able to chat with that person inside of the chat box, and it doesn't affect the document itself. So this gives you an opportunity to collaborate without having to be in the same physical space as someone else. So this brings us to the notion of sharing documents. As I said before, one of the nice things about Google Docs is everyone is able to work on the same file without having to merge files later on. And we do this via the Share button. Now, there's lots of different options for sharing. You don't have to share it all, which would be a private document. You can share to anyone with a link, so you would have to invite them or give them information to get to your document. Or you can make your document public, so anyone could search for your document and poof, it would pop up. Now, you can do this through that share button, as I said, and as you're adding people, there's multiple ways that people can interact with your document as well. So you can see here, once you hit the share button, these options will come up: private, anyone with link, public, and then at the bottom, when it says to add people, there's going to be an option for how people can interact with your document. Here it says can edit. When a person can edit, they can change everything about your document. Other settings can include commenting, so they can only comment, and also viewing, so they can view your document, but they can't comment on it, nor can they change it in any way, shape, or form. So you want to be careful when you're sharing documents to make sure to give the proper permissions to the proper people, right? So if you're working with a collaborator, you want to make sure that they can edit. If you're submitting something for grading, make sure that I can comment, etc., etc. But it's another thing to think about as you're sharing documents. Not only can you share documents, but you can also share folders. So in whatever you drop into this folder, it's kind of like Dropbox. Whatever you share in this folder is going to be shared with whoever you've shared the folder with, right? So any files in there are automatically going to be available to the people with whom you've shared the folder with. So there's that option as well. Now, let's say that you have a document that you do not have access to edit or comment on, but you would like to make some revisions and possibly use it another time. Let's say it is a template that I have provided for class that you need to make some adjustments to. However, if it's a template for class, I'm probably not going to give people permission to edit it, but I will give people permission to copy it. So essentially what you do is go to File and make a copy. And then it shows up in your Google Drive and you're able to edit it and then use that for your assignment, right? So when you have a template that is provided via Google Docs for class that I'm asking you to use, you're not going to work in the document that I'm giving you. You're going to make a copy of that document and work on that and then share that with me. Right, so there's the copy. Now, let's talk about storage for a minute, because we're coming to the end of this particular podcast. Overall, you get about 30 gigabytes of storage in Google Drive, and this can be sound files, pictures, other documents, PDFs, whatever. It works like a big Dropbox. But the nice thing is anything that's created in Google Apps doesn't count toward that allotment, so you can kind of make as many Google documents as you would like, and it doesn't take a bite out of your 30 gigabytes of storage. So that's another thing to think about. So, to review, at the end of this podcast, you have learned how to access Google Drive, how to get in, how to log in, how to create an account. We've also talked about the creation of folders and of documents. We've covered some basic formatting of documents, as well as the sharing of folders and documents, and then thinking about the accessing revision histories for documents. So, we've done a lot with Google Docs, and hopefully you will find it a helpful tool.